Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path. We're here down at the Four-Wheel Drive Super Centre in Dandenong in Melbourne. We've come down to have a look at their MT1 and MT2 camper trailers, check them out and tell you what we think, guys. So let's get inside and have a look. We're checking out the MT1 camper trailer right here behind us. This has been out on the market from Kings for about probably 12-15 months now, and then we've got the MT2 next door as well, which we're going to have a look at today as well. So let's get into it. So first thing I was keen to see was with these doors, the things you can't sort of see on videos and photos online is how high these are. So I'm just on 6'1" and I can stand under these. So, you know, if you're having a quick stop by the side of the road and you want to get your kitchen out or whatever, these would actually provide enough shelter without having to worry about putting a full awning out or something like that. You've got your slide out kitchen here with your pop down sink, tap, and obviously space here for a fridge. This is all pretty standard, and there's plenty of videos that are already out there that show how this situation works. Here you've got a really nice stainless steel surface and storage in here. So this is obviously your kitchen pantry area. Looks like it's not connected to power, it's not turned on at the moment, but so again, these are sort of riveted dividers in where you can divide things in. Looks like some spots there where you can put some tie straps in, little lip at the front. So this is a really functional, sensible, easy to use space. You can see that just latches up with some over center latches, and then you've got the door here that comes down, nice thick rubber seals on it. Just a really simple, easy to use. And the other thing that I'm noticing just standing here is the clearance under the bottom of the trailer. So you can imagine, yes, it's a square back, but it's just above knee height there. So you've got really good departure on these and really good clearance as well. You've got the awning poles here. Again, this is a really sort of fairly simple system. It's a sleeve, it's a post inside a sleeve, and you can see you've got a pin system here where you can pull this pin out and then adjust this up and down, and you can probably just make out in there is a small gas strut, so there is some assistance in adjusting that. If you pull the pin out, it doesn't just fall down, so you've got some assistance there, and yeah, then it's just a matter of lining that pin back up, putting that retaining clip back on, so you can adjust this down for travel and then lift it up when you park up to give you the clearance for this to open up. Obviously on this particular display model, they've got the Kings rooftop tent with the new step. In the back here you've got a really big open storage area, which is something I personally like to see on a trailer. You can do what you want with that space, so in terms of putting bulky items like swags, other tents, ground sheets, gazebos, whatever, you can configure that however you want. And you've got a nice big door here, and the spare tyre, which is a bit hard to see, I'll let the camera go around there, is on a separate swing away, so it's not mounted actually on the door, it's on its own swing away frame with a gas strut as well, which keeps the door nice and light. And you can open and close that nice and easy. So this particular model has got this extra drawer in here, which we won't pull out at the moment because there's a bunch of stuff in there and the ladder's in the way, but that's an extra storage drawer. Shoot. And yeah, really good access up to the tent. So we'll go around to the front and then go around the other side and have a look around there. But yeah, that's a neat system there. You can see the size of the chassis on this thing. Really large chassis. I'm not sure of the exact specs, but it's I'm sure it's on the website. You've got your DO35 hitch, you've got an Elco jockey wheel. Over this side, you've got an enclosure there to store your gas bottle. Probably the only thing we would note about that is maybe some sort of cover there. It'd be great to stop the mud getting in, but that's, you know, easily resolved if you want. You do have secure storage here with a lid that's again nice and simply lockable with an over center latch. So anything that you don't want getting dirty, you can store in there. And then you've got double jerry can holders on this side. Again, a little bit protected, and you've got a nice sort of anti-scratch finish. Almost looks like a Raptor finish on the front of this. So there's no separate stone guard, but you do have that protective finish on the storage box on the front. So then around this side you've got two more doors. The front bay here is your electrical bay, and look, these are all options. You've got your control panels there and gauges for monitoring your water tanks and your battery status and health, and then you've got a couple of batteries down here. Obviously there's 3 in this particular model. Again, I believe there's options on how you can configure it. You can actually buy these things as pretty much an empty shell if you want to, and you can fit a lot of this stuff out yourself, or you can choose option packs to option it up yourself when you get it delivered. So again, this is more access into this big storage area. You can see here, just to show you what you can put in there, we've got a big plastic storage box, a generator, an alley box, as well as some bedding in that. One of the things I hadn't seen before is these recessed tie down points, recessed into the floor, so you can put flat things over the top of them and not have an issue with those, which is just a really nice touch. So if you want to secure things in here, now from what I understand, these come with the extra optional drawer pack, and then lighting here mounted on the doors as well, so that you can see. And again, you can stand up straight under these quite alright with no head clearance issues at all. So, and as I said, I'm about 6'1", so look, if you're 6'3" or 6'4", you might have a challenge, but if you're average sort of height, you're going to have no issue at all getting under these at the standard height, with the suspension and tyres that are fitted to these from the factory. So keeping in mind, these things start from around 20 grand. Look, the prices change from time to time, but around 20 grand, I think you're getting a lot of trailer here for the money. From what I can see, it's well built, well put together. A lot of useful storage that doesn't dictate how you use it. That's probably the thing that I like most about this, is that the storage is configurable to how you like to camp and what you want to put in it. And yeah, you can put one of the Kings rooftop tents on, or you can put another rooftop tent. Again, the rail system on the roof lends itself to whatever you want to put up there. You can just use it as an equipment trailer if you like to camp in swags. This would make a great base camp and equipment trailer. You could still have your swag separate and not even worry about putting a rooftop tent up there. So a lot of options with this, a lot of ground clearance under. Again, you can see the height here at the front. Lots of clearance, independent suspension in underneath, and a really solid alloy chassis as well. So from my perspective, there's a lot to like on what you're seeing here. Like the tent, I think this is a slight revision on the original model that launched, with a few extra tweaks. So yeah, a lot to like about what we're seeing here. So hey guys, so before we move on to having a look at the MT2 camper trailer from Kings as well, I thought I'd just do a bit of a recap back in the office now, and realised probably a good idea, now that I'm actually editing the video, to just cap off some of the things that were on that trailer that were options, because obviously it's a display one, so they put everything on it. So the entry-level model at 20 grand still actually comes with your basic 12-volt setup. So it includes the electrical control panel, the LED camp lights, it includes your LED trailer lights, and even includes your 100 amp hour AGM battery. What it doesn't include is things like the fridge, the awning. So the awning mount's included, but the awning is not. The fridge is not included. The fridge slide's actually not included. So at the base entry-level model that at the moment's around 20 grand, you get an equipment trailer with a lot of storage, with a basic 12-volt setup, ready to go and hit the road. So what I thought I would do, just to cover off, to make it clear, is just show you what the items that at the moment at least are optional items. So the first one that I think nearly everybody's going to want
is the pull-out fridge slide. So that's actually an optional item. It doesn't come as standard. I'll put a picture of that up on the screen, hopefully. And that comes with two 12-volt outlets, tie downs, and it's 1128 millimeters by 548 millimeters. Quite a good size fridge slide, and suits the Kings 90-litre fridge. The other thing that is an option that I think, again, nearly everybody's going to want is the combination pull-out stainless steel kitchen. So you can get the fridge slide by itself, or you can get the fridge slide as a combo unit with the kitchen. So the fridge slide is the same size, and then the kitchen is 1014mm by 546mm, so a little bit narrower and slightly shorter. And I think that's the option that nearly everybody's going to want to go for. Now, I don't have pricing for these options because on the Kings website, they have dollar per week pricing for a bunch of different configurations. So, and they're always doing specials and things. So contact them for up-to-date pricing, of course. But there's that option. And then the other option that was displayed that was pretty cool as well was the rear open canopy storage area. Part of that was set up as a kitchen, and that's the pantry with the fold-down door with the stainless steel on top of it, and then the pantry storage along the top with the dividers. So the modular divider shelf and the fold-down bench top and everything, that's the pantry option. That's definitely something I think a lot of people will probably look at. Now, the rear drawer as well, I think, is a really good option. And that actually gives you the floor in the back above with the recessed tie downs. I don't believe they come standard. Just double check that. There's also dividers for those rear drawers. And then there's a crossbar kit for the roof. So really probably you could say four main options, being the kitchen fridge slide option, the pantry, the rear drawer, which you can also get dividers for, and then the roof crossbar kit. And then they have different sort of packs that change the components of the electrical kit and add and subtract awnings and add and subtract the rooftop tent and all those sorts of things. But in terms of things that you actually bolt onto and configure the trailer, they're really the key options. And for my money, I think you're going to want the fridge slide kitchen combo, and I think you're going to want the pantry and the rear drawer. They all just make a lot of sense to me and make the trailer so much more functional. The 12 volt you could always add to later on yourself if you wanted to. But anyway, I'll put some pictures of those up if I haven't already. And while we're talking about the MT1, before I get on to looking and talking to you about the MT2, what were my thoughts on the MT1? What did I like? What didn't I like? Okay, what I really liked about it was the amount of storage in that rear canopy area for large, bulky items. A lot of camper trailers kind of dictate how you're going to store things, or they dictate, oh, you use this particular brand of thing and it fits in this hole. And look, it looks amazing when there's a place for everything and everything in its place, but a lot of us don't actually camp like that. So the really big open storage space in the back of the back of the canopy, I really, really liked. The kitchen I thought was simple but great in that it had a good amount of bench space, particularly when combined with the fold-down pantry. I think together they give you enough bench space that, you know, unless you're a really big family, you wouldn't necessarily need a separate table. I like the fact that the electrical system in a basic form is included as standard, and the other thing I liked about the electrical area was there's room, as you saw in the display one, for up to 3 large batteries, and there's also a shelf there where you can have things charging while you're on the road. So again, not every camper trailer is going to have the space for that. So I quite like the way the electrical layout was set up. And as I mentioned on the walkthrough, I really like those tie-down points in the rear storage area. So the idea that if you do have some heavy, bulky items in there, you can tie them down like the generator that they had sitting in there, things of that nature. So what didn't I like about this? Okay, not a lot, to be honest. I mean, it's not like I've been out and towing it and can really comment on how it performs or anything like that. The only thing I can say, probably 2 small things. is the jerry can and the gas bottle storage at the front have nearly solid floors in the base of them, and they have the guard around the front, so they're going to be prone to filling up with dirt and mud and things if you're on those kind of tracks. So a lid for those would have maybe been good. I understand gas bottles in a confined space may not be ideal, so that's probably why that's not been done. The other thing that I probably didn't love, and again, this is just me guessing how this would work, is that storage toolbox and the gas bottle storage and the jerry can storage, that was all painted with like a Raptor type finish. It had a sort of a rough finish, and clearly that was designed to be the stone guard. You probably heard in the video when I hit that what kind of noise it made. So my feeling is if you're out on a lot of gravel tracks throwing up stones, it's going to make a pretty awful racket with stones and things hitting that. It's not like a rubberized coating on there. My thinking would be you probably might want to invest in either an aftermarket soft stone guard that could sit across the drawbar in front of that to reduce the noise and reduce the eventual damage to the trailer, or you're going to want to make sure that your tow vehicle's got rock tamers or something similar, just to prevent too many stones getting thrown up and hitting that. And then, of course, when you've got a hard stone guard like that, you've always got that risk that the stones are going to ricochet off and hit the rear window of your tow vehicle if you happen to have a wagon like me. So at this stage, that's probably my only criticism of the MT1. I think it represents really good value for money. I think it's a great trailer for families. Matt, who was with me, helped out with the filming. He's got a background in metal fabrication, and he was pretty happy with the quality of the welds and the way it was put together and those sorts of things. He's a lot more knowledgeable on that than I am. So as I said in the video there, I think you're getting a lot of trailer for your money. I think it's a great concept. Is it a perfect trailer? No. But I do think it represents really good value for money, and is a great sort of equipment camping trailer with an opportunity for a rooftop tent on the top in the marketplace, and something worth looking at. Let me say, look, to clarify as well, as I generally do, this video is not paid for or sponsored by Kings or Supercenter or any of those guys. I currently have a camper trailer that I really like. What it doesn't have is a tent on it, so I've been looking at options to either convert my current trailer to have a tent on it, or get a trailer that comes with a tent. So this was something I was interested to look at. Clearly, they're at an attractive point in the market price-wise, and I was just keen to see what the build quality, materials, finishes, and usability look like, and what you're actually getting for your money. It's great where you can to support Australian manufacturing, and clearly that always comes with a price. And I don't use my current camper trailer all that much. So again, I think it's horses for courses. If you're using, it's like buying an awning. If you're using an awning a lot, all the time, regularly, you might spend $2 or $3 grand on a really high-end awning. If it's something that you only use once or twice a year, you're probably going to look for a more cost-effective option, because it's not something that you use all the time. Anyway, that's my wrap up on the MT1, guys. I will also put some key specs up if I haven't already, because you're probably better off looking at that than my head, on the dimensions and departure angles and those sorts of things. Again, that all looks pretty impressive to me for a trailer. The weights, ball weights, all those sorts of things. Ball weight's probably something to note. It does state, I think, in their specs, a 200 kilo ball weight. So some vehicles might have a 150 kilo ball weight limit. If they don't have a heavy duty tow pack, just something to check out. Make sure you're legal if you're looking at towing something like this. Anyway, enough of me talking about this. Let's get on and look at the MT2.
Hopefully this has been a helpful sort of rundown. For me, I wanted to come and have a look at this for myself and sort of look at some of the things that weren't readily available to see from the videos that were already out there. Look at things like the actual head clearance under these doors when they're open, and how accessible the spaces are and all those sorts of things, and pretty happy with what I'm seeing, guys. So hope this has been helpful. Like this video if you liked it, drop a question down below. We'll do the best to answer them. If you've got any specific questions about the trailer, hit up the guys at 4 Wheel Drive Super Centre and Kings, and they'll be able to answer the questions for you. Thanks for watching.